Hello everyone, my name is Brandy and welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about locks, more specifically lock undercuts. So I'm just going to give you a few things to consider before getting an undercut and a few of the benefits that I think come with lock undercuts. So as you can see, I have locks. They are currently in 2-strand twists, well 3-strand twists, but I have about 200, give or take. I had about 230, 240 before I did my undercut, and then I cut off my bottom 3 rows. So let's get right into the things to consider. So the first thing that I would like you all to consider, or I suggest you consider, is how it will affect the overall look of your hair. If you're someone who regularly wears your hair down, having an undercut will most likely change the look of your hair when it is down, especially the thickness in the back. Um, for me, since I have so many, it did not affect it too much. I'll show you later in the video, but it didn't really affect it too much because I have so many. It kind of hides it. If I move my hair in the back, and if I have my hair up, you can obviously see it. But unless I actually move my hair, you can't really tell, and that's just because I have so many. But for someone who has maybe 40 or 50 locks, it might drastically change the appearance of your hair when you have it down, and even when you have it up, and it's going to reduce the volume of your ponytail, the volume of your bun. It's going to affect the overall look. So that is something that I would strongly suggest you would consider before actually doing the undercut. Another thing that I would suggest you consider is how much you will be committed to this. It's just like your locks. You had to commit to the locking process. You had to maintain the maintenance of retwisting and washing and drying and, just keeping your locks healthy. With an undercut, you will have to keep the cut up. Unless you just want to grow it back out, you will have to keep your hair cut regularly. How regularly depends on how fast your hair grows. But yeah, you will have to get your hair cut. I maintain my hair myself. I've gotten them installed by someone. I've gotten them retightened a handful of times by other people, but I do the bulk of the work. I retwist my own hair. I wash my own hair. Cutting hair is something that I do not do. I don't know how to do that. But my husband, he has been keeping it up for me. So if you're somebody, like if you're lucky to have somebody that can keep it up for you, then great. But if not, then that, and you are maintaining your hair yourself, then that might have to be a little bit of money that you set aside to keep that maintenance up and to keep that done. So just take that into consideration before doing your undercut. Another thing I would take into consideration is how big you want your undercut to actually be. I cut off maybe the last bottom 3 or 4 rows. I don't remember. It was either 3 or 4 rows of my hair. And I did that just to give it a more full look whenever I pull my hair up. But you don't have to do that. I know some people I've seen some people on Pinterest and on YouTube who just get the nape cut. Then there are some people who get their whole back half of their hair cut. So just go into the situation already having an idea and a picture of how you want your hair to look in the back of your head and your cut to look. And also rolling back into the first thing, take into consideration how that cut will affect the overall look of your hair. You're cutting off your locks. You will not have as many. It will not be as full. That's just the nature of the beast. So just be prepared for that. And another thing that I would strongly suggest you all consider, and that I myself did not consider, is the shape of your head. When I had my husband shave mine off, I was disgusted. The shape of my head, he has a beautiful shaped head, and I expected mine to just come off like that. I don't know why. Mine looked like crap. I had and my head was just weirdly shaped, and then my scalp was used to the tension of the locks. So it was like a little, I don't want to say lump, but I don't know what else word to use. It was like I don't know. You could see that where it was raised from where the locks were, and the weight of the locks was pulling my scalp. It did go down, and I just let my hair grow out a little thicker. So that is a simple solution. If you hate the shape of your hair like I did after you cut it, you can just, in fact, let your hair grow thicker. You don't have to get it cut so low. So that's the positive on that. Another thing, and the final thing that I think that well, one of the final things, I'm sure there are plenty more, but one of the final things that I would suggest you consider after or before, I'm sorry, you get your lock undercut is your parts. So I would also, to caveat that, suggest that you do not do the lock undercut immediately after you retighten your hair, because your parts are more likely to be visible then. So I would suggest that you just cut it a few weeks or months or however long you take to retighten your hair, or go in between retightening your hair. Do it before you retighten it, so that way it's easier to not have parts. It's just easier to ensure that your parts aren't there. So I did mine. I did retighten like the bottom few rows, but I got that bottom part cut lower, and I retightened the some of like the third row, and my parts kind of showed. So I just had to brush it and wait for it to grow a little thicker, and they were hidden afterwards. But I would suggest considering that beforehand. So now let's get into some of the benefits. So some of the benefits that I think that you will have after getting a lock undercut is it takes less time to retighten or retwist your hair. Plain and simple. Like I have 200. I cut off about 30 or 40. I don't remember how many. So that is 30 or 40 less locks for me to retighten, which is just so appreciated. It saves so much time, and headache and arm tiredness and arm strength, and it really is just worth it, as far as not having to retighten so much. Another thing would be it's less tension for me when I pull up my hair. Speaking for myself on this, I hope that it will be the same for you. But I was not a person who could have buns and wear high ponytails all day, because I got a headache. It just killed my head. But since getting rid of those bottom few rows, I have not had that issue. I don't know if it's just the lack of tension or what, but it has helped alleviate some of those headaches that I used to have when I did try to wear my hair up. Another thing that is a huge benefit is that it adds a little bit of versatility. If you're getting kind of bored with your hair and considering cutting it all off, I would strongly suggest that you just consider getting an undercut beforehand and see how you like that. It does add a little bit of style. It makes it a little different, a little cuter, and a little more versatile. And the final thing that I would consider a benefit is that you get the best of both worlds. So before my locks, I was a loose natural. I eventually grew tired of having to constantly do my hair every day, so I decided to just get locks. But my undercut does give me a peek back into the loose natural world, because you get to comb your hair. You get to comb your hair. You get to brush your hair. You get to, do a little bit more to your hair. So yeah, that's one of the benefits that I think is another good reason to consider or get a lock undercut. And now, the big reveal. Let's show you my lock undercut. Here we go. Just a second. Here is a full peek at my hair. Let's switch that back on around. Here's a full peek at my hair. And then here is the back. And like I said, well, I have 3-strand twists in, so when my hair is loose, it looks a little fuller, but even now you can't see it. It's kind of masked, but this is my undercut. I'm working on my wave game. I'm about to kill my husband on the waves, but this is my undercut. Thanks for watching.